recorded live from Studio 12A in sunny Phoenix, Arizona. You're listening to the Josh and Friends Podcast.
Thank you for tuning in to the Josh and Friends Podcast. I am your host. My name is Josh. And this week, the show welcomes Steve Klunk back to the podcast. And during this episode, we have a lot to catch up on, including his new baby, married life, and we're also going to talk about some crazy news stories and current event stuff, as well as what's going on in the wild world of entertainment. So let's get right into this and give me a warm welcome to my old pal, the one and only, Mr. Steve Klunk. Woo! Yeah, Steve, welcome back, buddy. How you been, man?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me back. It's been a long time. Sorry we couldn't join in the studio. I'm sure we'll get to talking about that shortly, hopefully, or longly. I don't know.
It's all good, man. As long as I get to see you and talk to you, everything's all good, man. Everything's all good. So yeah, I haven't had you on the podcast in a long time. It's been a long time.
It has.
Yeah. So
like episode 400 already. I'm like, where did the years go?
Right. Yeah. So how's life treating you, buddy?
Pretty good. Large difference is there's a 13-month-old running the house a little bit lately. But that's
a little baby Elvis.
Good. Yeah,
I love that little pose your little girl did. It was great.
I can't wait to send that to. I need to send that to my father-in-law. I found out that he's a huge Elvis guy.
Oh, really?
Which I'm one of the weirdos. Not a big Elvis, not a big Beatles guy. We don't need to get into that. I'm just not. I know.
That's we'll leave that for later as well. But so how's the wife? How's the wife doing?
She's good. She postponed a dinner party today as well.
Okay.
The old COVID action. So she's bathing the kid and reading her
COVID's
book.
making a comeback.
Baby Elvis, gotta stay clean.
So, have you got to do anything fun lately? I know that I like the dog appearance going right by you.
You like that?
Tail
that's
going
going to be quite frequent.
No, have you had any chances to go to any sporting events or concerts or anything like that lately?
Gosh, I feel like a weirdo. Oh, we were supposed to go to one last night, but I was like, it's the Padres and the Diamondbacks. So I was like, sounds like a lot of work. So we skipped out on that. It was with like her friends and their boyfriends.
Right.
I mean, I'd make the sacrifice to go with, let's say, Josh Matlock, but
yeah, that's what I like to hear, man. That's what I like to hear.
We haven't done much. I think I went to a hockey game, which was random. I think it was just free tickets. I was like, all right, I'll go to a hockey game.
There you go. I always find it kind of weird that they have hockey in Phoenix. Isn't that kind of weird? Like, some
it really
serious
is
technology going on here.
Or so like it's just not that interesting of a sport to people who don't have access to it. Right. And how could you have access to it unless you were like extremely wealthy if you lived in Phoenix, right?
Yeah, that's
not
true.
You just need a pair of skates. You're like, I need skates and knee pads and sweater and shoulder
it's a very
pads
expensive
and
sport.
helmet.
Yeah. So I was texting you a few weeks back, and I told you that I was kind of like cutting back a little bit on my drinking, and you were like, "Yeah, I need to start cutting back myself," and then you were like texting me, and then you were like, I can't remember how many drinks you said you were in, but you were like, "I'm on my second bottle of wine" or something like that. I started laughing so hard. I was like, "That's great, dude. That's great." What are you drinking right there? What kind of beer is that?
That's I like this one. It's Hopnot. It's like it's a local brewery. So it's one of these Four Peaks brands.
Nice.
I like it because when it's on sale, Josh, let me tell you, it's $11 for a 15 pack.
Wow.
Can't beat it.
That's pretty good. That's pretty dang good. Yeah.
Nice little IPA, and it's 6.7.
Well, we'll hear you slurring a little bit later here in the pod. Yeah. No. So, Steve, I received a very important update on Facebook. The other day.
Uh-oh.
Apparently, you and I just celebrated 8 years of friendship.
8?
Oh, congratulations.
Why, thank you. Congratulations to you.
Oh, man.
8 years, 8 years of Facebook friendship, right?
Exactly.
All right.
That's pretty wild, though. 8 years. Yeah, good times roaming around the halls of Ravana, watching all the weirdos going by, all that good stuff. But yeah, speaking of weird, though, what I wanted to do is I wanted to go over some weird and interesting stories with you today. And I think it'd be kind of fun. It'll be kind of fun to take a look at some of these stories and get your take on some of these. So, Steve, are you a big fan of the restaurant Arby's?
I mean, I would say yes, because I don't think there's anything I wouldn't eat there. But do I go there? Probably once a year, maybe. I don't know where any are. There's one out here in Sun City, I know, but that's like the only one I know where there is one.
That's kind of like the answer I expect when I if I would ever ask that question to somebody, which I don't know why I would ever ask that question of somebody, but that's usually how it goes. Like, I mean, like I don't hate it. I mean, I like it when I'm eating it, I guess, but yeah. Well, Steve, you might not be a big fan after this next story.
All right.
So, a manager up in Vancouver, Washington, where I'm actually from, they were actually recently arrested for urinating into a milkshake mix that
into the frosty mix.
Well, it's Wendy's, right?
Wendy's. Okay.
And they said it might have been served to dozens of people. Dozens. So police say they uncovered footage of the 29-year-old, of course he's a man, peeing into a bag of milkshake mix. And the reason why they actually found this is because they were executing a search warrant on his phone as part of a child pornography investigation. So this guy, he has other things going on, apparently.
I mean, I'm just assuming from not knowing anything else that was on his phone. I'm not that mad at him for this one. I'm a little more upset about the other thing.
Right. Yeah, so...
milkshake, pornography of children.
No kidding, right? We'll just add that to the list, yeah. So I guess they found the 16-second urination video in his iPhone, and the manager said that he did it twice as he was working alone in the restaurant one night. The guy was the manager, by the way. He was the manager. So he said he did it twice while he was working alone one night. And he did it for sexual gratification. What is that? Sexual gratification? He's like, I don't understand that, but people are into some weird stuff.
That's for sure.
And another manager at the Arby's told detectives that the restaurant sold at least one ice cream float and about 30 to 40 milkshakes that day.
He was very gratified, is what you're saying.
He was very gratified, yeah. Yeah. Oh, man, he must have had a great time. He's like, oh, man, this is just... It's like every time he's like, here's your ice cream. Here's your milkshake. No word yet as if the man still has his job. Guessing he doesn't, but, it's kind of hard to keep people employed these days, so you never know.
They could have the same laws that, like, California has. He's a nonviolent offender, technically.
Right. And, they need employees, I mean, if that guy can become the manager, I mean, yeah.
I like that he's just working alone, like, la, la.
Right?
He's not, like, on his phone or, like, reading a book, doing anything. He's like, I'm going to pee in the milkshake. That sounds fun, just for me to do.
You imagine, I always think to myself, how many times has this happened? I mean, this is just someone that got caught, right? I mean, there's got to be some messed up stuff going on, especially late at night when people are like, when they're, drunk or something like that. And there's like one guy that's like angry that, the other person that was supposed to be with them that night called out sick. And they're just like, hold on, let me go get your food in the back. I'm like, oh, okay. Everyone's drunk and laughing. Yeah, okay, you dick. So yeah.
I try to make it a point to, in the event of going through a fast food drive-through, yes, please.
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
I'm always the guy who's saying, everybody shut up, be respectful.
Yeah. Honestly, I think it was last weekend or the weekend before, we were going over to her Amanda's parents, where I like to sleep on the couch, and we were gonna have just a swim day with the kid, and we were just swinging through Taco Bell to grab a couple tacos and just eat something before we go swimming or whatever.
Right.
Just like a light lunch. And Amanda, she goes, I think she said to the lady was like, she said, on both of those, no tomatoes. Amanda doesn't like tomatoes. She goes, on both of those, and she goes, one, snap back.
Oh no.
And I was like,
cancel the order.
Yeah, you just got to. There's just dudes on the line just hawking. I could just hear it in the background. I was like, oh great, we got lug and all our stuff.
Yeah.
Steve, how come you're not eating your tacos? I'm good.
Oh man, I think girls have gotten worse and more bold than dudes over the years. Maybe it's just me, but that's how Jen is too. She's like short fused and she wants to snap it, and I go, whoa, calm down. Calm down. Maybe we were obviously, testosterone in your 20s and stuff like that. You're just everything's can make you crazy. But Steve, speaking of sweets, have you ever seen the movie Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory?
I have, but not the remake, the Johnny Depp remake.
Gotcha. Okay.
I've seen the old school one.
Okay. The reason why I'm bringing this up is there were parts of that movie that were pretty dark. Actually, both movies, they were pretty dark. And mostly dealing with greed and how there were consequences for acting like an idiot. You know what I mean? But I was reading this story about how two guys actually fell into a giant tank at the Mars Wrigley plant in Pennsylvania. They fell in while they're fixing something, I guess. And they were doing some maintenance, and both of the guys fell in. What are they doing? Are they sitting on like a piece of plywood that broke in the middle or something? I don't understand. But responders said that they had to cut a hole in the bottom of the tank to let them out. And I don't know. I'm just thinking.
Why can't they swim to the top or get a rope or a ladder?
I think it was almost empty, or I don't know. I get a ladder. Yeah, that sounds like it would be a easier kind of deal than cutting out the tank and running the entire deal there. But then I started thinking about it, and I was like, did they do this on purpose?
Oh, I was gonna say, or they had to be just screwing around, right? For sure.
I can see Lee doing this, dude. When are we ever gonna be able to say that we can swim in chocolate?
Yeah, and probably a little pact between buddies. I'll do it if you do it.
Right. It's like, dude, ready? Don't fuck with me.
On three. Go. Hold my hand, man. We're going in.
See, I think that's way better of oh, they fell. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay. And I don't blame them. Again, if that was the case, I don't blame them for this. That was kind of I don't know. Maybe it's a bucket list thing that they fell into a bucket of milk chocolate. Steve, it is wedding season. Gosh, you gotta love wedding season. Yeah, wedding season.
I've been to 3 already this year, and I still.
Are you kidding?
2. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Dang. Everyone's getting married.
Yeah.
Wow. So, Steve, what year did you and Amanda get married?
Tess, 2014.
What was it?
2014.
2014. Okay. And I always love seeing you guys together because you guys remind me of. Tell me if this is semi-accurate. You kind of remind me of Doug Heffernan from King of Queens, and Carrie kind of rolling her eyes at you, and you're always doing something dumb, and she's like, no, I didn't say physically, not physically. You're the fatty. What do you want me to say? Man is the man? No, I'm just saying, like, you'll do something kind of, dumb, or you're like a smart ass, and then she's kind of like,
That's fair.
I love that. I think it's hilarious. But anyway.
But isn't his dad the same dad as Seinfeld? Or no,
yes.
Costanza's dad, right?
Yep.
Oh,
Jerry Stiller.
Enough.
Yep,
or
absolutely.
Is that her dad or his dad?
That's her dad in the show.
Okay. Yeah. I wish I had him running around. That'd be great.
Oh, wouldn't that be awesome? Anyway,
people.
Yes. So I used to DJ weddings, and they could be pretty stressful. For one, the reason why that is because I'm sober and everybody else is not sober. And at the beginning of like when I started doing that, computers just came out with like you could add music into them and then load them on. And I had to have this guy going, "Yeah, you should load your stuff into the computers." And I'm like, man, not yet, dude. I don't want to do that quite yet. Like this is like back a while ago, and even then, like the sound quality wasn't up to par at that point in time. So I didn't want to risk it. CDs, I'll deal with the CDs and I'll pack them in. It'll be better than. Can you imagine like a computer crashing and it's like, "Oh, sorry, everybody." Yeah. Oh man, that'd be bad. That'd be horrible.
Laptop. Sorry about that.
Sorry, everybody. Well, have a great night. I think there's some bar down the street that's playing some music. No, the reason why I bring that up is because the food at the wedding. Do you remember what you guys served at your wedding for food?
It was catered by Babbo. So it's like Italian food. They had like a couple of different salads, couple different sides, couple different things of pasta. They passed like appetizers at the end of the ceremony and then got into the food action. So it was like buffet style.
Gotcha. Okay. So sounds kind of similar to this next story here. But a woman
was peeing in the pasta.
Close.
Oh, great.
A woman in Florida. It's always Florida, right? It's always Florida. A woman in Florida and her caterer were recently arrested for lacing their food at the wedding with marijuana. And
for zero reason?
I don't know. They're like, this should be funny at our wedding. But
I love seeing people stoned out of their mind, especially grandmas and children.
Right. So, the main course that was being served was lasagna. And I guess they sprinkled it in there while preparing it. So approximately 30 to 40 people in attendance. There were many guests who called 911 because they were feeling weird and felt like they had drugs inside of them. And several of the other attendees were treated at nearby hospitals, experiencing sickness and feelings of being high or stoned. So, yeah, like, what is the reasoning? Why would anybody do that at a wedding? Like, you might want to do that at, well, I wouldn't want to do that anywhere. Like, as far as like a joke of some sort, like that's a weird prank to play. But yeah, well, it's a great way to start off your marriage right there. Let's get everybody, let's get everyone fucked up.
Yeah, I remember Steve's wedding. Yeah, I do. I dialed 911.
Yeah, Steve's wedding when everyone's like crawling on the floor, looking up at the sky and stuff. Yeah, it was great. It was fantastic.
They must have been fucking just totally messed up though. 911.
Yeah, right. They're like, what's going on at this wedding?
Must not have been open bar or like something.
Right?
I don't know why I'm messed up.
Weird, right?
Off, buddy.
So, authorities collected numerous samples of food from the wedding, including chocolate-covered strawberries, bread, cookies, brownies, pudding shots, and a handful of lasagna. And the police report said that lasagna and a piece of bread, maybe that fell in when they were mixing it in the lasagna. I don't know. Or maybe like instead of they coated it with butter and marijuana at the top. But they said that they both tested positive for THC. So Have you had like brownies that were
No, never. You know what? I like to golf a lot, but and whenever I go golfing with my buddy Sean. You might have met him at my bachelor party.
Okay.
But anytime I golf with him, he's always like, "You want a gummy? You want a gummy?" He's like, if he comes to any parties like at Amanda's parents' house, he's like, "You want a cookie?" He's always like has all these edibles, and I'm just like, I'm good. I'm like scared, like, because I'm like, I've already been drinking, and I'm like, if I have that, and I'm like, I might be calling 911. I'm like, I thought we were gonna play cornhole and go swimming. He's calling 911.
The most messed up I ever saw my brother was when he ate a marijuana laced cookie. Yeah. And just some guy walked in the bar. It's like, it's always a good idea. Just pass around cookies. I remember I took it and I started eating it and I was like, wait a minute. This doesn't taste like a chocolate chip cookie. I just spit it. I spit it out.
I'm just scared because of the different potency of them. And I don't know. People were like, 5 grams might mess you up, but 200 is fine for me. And I'm like, that's cool. I have no idea. I don't really want to find out.
Right. You know what I'd like to see is video from that wedding. How great would that be? Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
I never feel that bad for the. Yeah, actually, it is probably bad for the DJ because he just wants people to be dancing. But even if you are dancing at a wedding and you're dancing like an asshole, it's like at least you're dancing.
Right. That's fine.
The floor is okay. I always feel a little bad for the bartender who's just kind of like.
Oh yeah. The bartender.
Making a drink, get out of here. You just watching it get gradually more messed up. And then
the worst part was dealing with the father of the bride, who's kind of like staring at you because he's already paid for the whole event anyways. So he's kind of like, "Are you going to be playing some better music here soon?" I'm like, well, you kind of give me a list of stuff that I need to play, but at a certain point, I just abandon it because I know what songs are going to be, good for people dancing. Right. So. And she's drunk. She doesn't follow me.
Well, plus the father of the bride, what's he telling you to play? Play some 50s.
Yeah. Look, I don't want to play your favorite songs here when, like, I'm not going to be playing, Dave Matthews Band when people are trying to dance on the floor. So, sorry. No. All right. So, speaking of marijuana, Steve. Speaking of marijuana. Dog's back. I'm liking the dog. What's your dog's name, by the way?
This is Mac.
Mac. Look at you, good boy. All right. So, speaking of marijuana, boxing legend Mike Tyson I guess he's been in the marijuana business for quite some time now. And that's how he makes most of his fortune now. What's that?
He's big into it, apparently. I don't know that much about it, but I think he has something special out now.
Well, remember, because he blew all his money. He blew all his money from boxing, which he made a lot of money. Oh. I guess it said he earned over $400 million from over his boxing career. And
you know what? He got a lot of that bamboozled out of him by a good old Downey King.
Yep, absolutely. But now, from his marijuana company, he reportedly earns more than $653,000 a year from his marijuana business.
Dude, good for him.
I know, it's awesome.
Kind of awesome.
But there's one item that he was trying to sell, the company was trying to sell, and it was rejected. It was rejected by the state of Colorado.
Oh, I know what it is.
You heard this one?
Went through. Is it Evander Holyfield's ear or something? Like, it's nibble out of it?
So, yep. So what this is, it's a new edible that is shaped like an ear with a bite out of the top. Now, Steve, do you remember that fight? Were you watching that fight when it happened?
Dude, I was. We had the Pirate Box on cable out here, so you could watch all the pay-per-view events, and I was so excited for him because I was a big Tyson fan, so I wanted to see him do well. And God, it was such a frustrating fight because Holyfield just kept him at bay. He couldn't get inside at all, and he was just jabbing him, staying on the outside. It was frustrating. And
tell me that was the craziest thing you've ever seen.
Dude, and I was even like defending him at those times because I was such a staunch supporter of him. And that, gosh, I must have still been in high school. I think I was. And
because it was 97, I think it was.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Oh yeah. I do
Yeah, it was wild, man. Yeah, I remember watching it.
Seattle, right?
Yeah. Yep. I was watching it in Seattle. We had a big group of people over, and we were like, "What the?" He bit his ear, and the chunk is on the. They picked up the chunk of ear off the.
The best is that they noticed it, and then he did it again. He did it again.
Yes, it was insane. I was like, "Wow." So yeah, that was wild, man. But yeah, I remember because later Tyson said that he did it because he was like terrified. He was like, he's losing. He was getting his ass kicked. He said it, and he was yeah. So he's like,
I know initially he was talking about Holyfield butted him, and I mean it's part of boxing, it just is.
Right.
It's like we were gonna have heavyweights fight with those Olympic.
Right. Yeah, maybe they should start fighting like that again, like a Corolla in the what's the movie?
The Hammer.
The Hammer, yes, the Hammer. Yeah. So Tyson, I wonder if you could buy that here, because they said Colorado was the place you couldn't sell it, but maybe you could buy it at other places. I don't know. But
I thought I heard something like it was like Evander was cool with it, because I'm sure he had to clear it.
Well, no, so basically what the reason why he wasn't able to sell it is because Tyson 2.0, I guess is the name of the company. It was told by Colorado that he would not be able to sell his ear-shaped edibles because state law prohibits marijuana edibles from being shaped like humans, animals, fruit, and other images that could attract children. So, kids,
what is it
love ears.
Like?
It just looks like an ear, like a.
No, I know, but like, what else do they shape it like? It's not like a fruit.
I don't know.
Like a gummy bear. Like, what is it shaped like?
I don't know. I just always. What are normal gummies? What do they look like? Like little bears and stuff?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I don't know.
I think that's what my buddy showed me before. Or maybe it's just like dots.
It all looks like candy to me. Like,
yeah.
Who knows?
Sour Patch Kids are encouraging us to eat little small, yummy tasting children. What? I don't get it.
kind of want to get one of these gummies, but yeah. Anyway, so Steve, you are well aware of the STD gonorrhea, right? You're well aware.
I would say well aware, but aware. Luckily aware.
Okay. Well, Steve, have you ever heard of the new super gonorrhea disease that's going around?
That's a thing. All right.
So I guess
they really expounded on that name. Super gonorrhea.
Yeah, the new and improved gonorrhea.
Like it's not scary enough. You have Doc comes in. Oh boy. Super gonorrhea.
I have good news and bad news.
Gonorrhea?
Yeah. No, but yeah, so I guess there's some dude from Austria who is traveling abroad, and he contracted the new strain of gonorrhea. And the guy was in his 50s and having unprotected sex with a hooker in Cambodia. And 5 days later, he noticed some pain in his penis while he was taking a leak. So, yeah. Apparently this new strain, it's resistant to most antibiotics. And I don't know, I think the valuable lesson here might be to not have unprotected sex with a hooker in Cambodia. Or,
yeah. That guy might want some ear-shaped gummies or something to help that super pain.
Exactly. They're like, well, it doesn't work with antibiotics. So what does he do? He just has lifetime gonorrhea? Is that one of those things that you can get rid of, or I don't know?
Contacts Tyson 2.0, .com or whatever.
Oh, so yeah, it's kind of like that. Have you ever seen that movie Dirty Work?
Yes. Oh, of course.
I've never seen so many dead hookers in my entire life. One guy's like, Lord knows I have. Oh, anyway. All right. So, Steve, this one might be more up your alley. Okay. This next story. So you have two dogs. What's the name of your other dog?
Ella. She's somewhere. I think she's upstairs.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, Steve, have either of your dogs ever humped your leg?
No. They're not like, I don't know, they're not, one's a boy, one's a girl. I don't know if that matters, but sometimes I've seen like my buddies' dogs do like hump their stuffed animals or something.
Okay.
These dogs aren't humpers for whatever reason.
Have you ever had a dog that humped your leg?
You just, I'm pretty positive. I know I have, and you just, they tell you, hey, just kick him off. And you're like, what? Why does he do that?
Okay. So you have, you have one male dog and you have one female dog. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, are you 100% certain that both of your dogs are straight?
I am, because Mac, like before we got him neutered, we had Amanda's friend and her husband were staying with us for spring training, and they had a dog with them, and it was like, I didn't want to get him neutered, and then he was just about a year, and then he figured out what it was for. And was just ferociously chasing that dog around the house, just trying to mount her and I just had to keep them separated. I was like, we're making an appointment for this guy right away. And he was technically trying to hump a female. My other dog, I don't know. I guess he could be gay. He could be gay. Okay. Maybe he's bi. He could be bi.
There you go. Well, hey, the reason I'm bringing this all up, because it's a weird question to ask, but the reason I'm bringing this up is there's a man in North Carolina who recently dumped his dog off at the local animal shelter because he feared that his dog might very well be gay. True story here. So the man's dog,
what does that mean?
The man's dog, Fezco, that's the name of the dog. Poor little Fezco. He was caught humping another dog who was a male, and this dude completely freaked out, and he lost it. He was like, you know what? I'm not having a gay dog. I'm not having a gay dog. I refuse to have a gay dog. I'm taking this dog to the animal shelter. Steve, the reason I'm bringing this up is because if you found out that one of your dogs was gay, what would you do? Would you do the same thing?
No,
would you love your dog?
Absolutely not. I would hope that would put that guy on just like a list of, random psychos out there. Right. You just want to keep a short, I'm not saying he should be up there with like the bona fide terrorists that the, CIA and FBI know about, but just, get him on that bottom of that list.
I agree.
And then also too, wouldn't you think the workers in that shelter would be like, "Good, give him to us. Like, we don't want you stupid ass having him. You don't want him because he's gay."
Yeah. What a weirdo. It's a good thing you dropped him off there instead of just let him die out in the backyard somewhere. Right?
Here, gay boy.
Is that ashamed of his dog?
Yeah.
Well, okay. So the reason why this is so ridiculous is because studies have shown that homosexual behavior has been observed in more than 1,500 animal species, and any dog owner knows that kind of dogs will just kind of hump anything. Like
that's like how their natural thing is, like getting together with other dogs, and whether it's a female or a male, they hump them. Right. And that's what they show their dominance or whatever. Right? Yeah. What if we did that? Oh, boy. Dude,
I've seen like dogs hump furniture, toys, people. Many other objects, but so they actually wrote that the owner thought the dog was a Gay-9 and didn't want to be around him, so that's why he left him at the shelter.
Well, I mean, and also with that creative of a comedic mind, I mean, how come that guy hasn't been signed by like a writing studio?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one, buddy. That's a good one. Oh, so ridiculous. So ridiculous. Steve, how do you feel about the word bald? Take it or leave it.
I mean, you tell me.
You're doing pretty good.
I'm doing all right.
You're doing all right.
I know many balding people.
Sure.
I think I'm working there, like you do one of these in the morning and you're just like, whoa.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Start looking like the old Teen Wolf hands, and you're like, wait a minute, I said no hairs there. Okay.
Yeah, I could safely say that probably most people don't grow more. Maybe Eric Tapia. Maybe he grows more hair, but everybody else on the planet, less hair as they get older. Well, so some people, I guess, are really sensitive to that word, and for good reason. It could be kind of weird to be, bald at a young age. And I'm sure you saw the famous Will Smith slapping incident, the Oscars. Jada Pinkett Smith. What did you think of that? Did you like that?
No.
Wasn't a fan. Yeah. But the reason I'm bringing that up is because there was a man in England who was on the job, and his supervisor. So picture you're at a place and a supervisor yells over at you, and he called the man a bald cunt. And the guy he didn't have any issues with the C word, but the bald word over there. The bald word. That was the insult that got him. So he took it to court. He took this to court, Steve.
Wait,
and
this is in England, right?
This is in Britain, yeah.
So they still have the crazy, weird powdered wig dudes and stuff, right? Don't they? Or
I don't know. I think it is kind of weird like that.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
They could all be bald under there. That's why they're like, yeah, get this guy out of here.
Right. Yeah, so a court in Britain ruled that you can no longer refer to a man as being bald in the workplace. So apparently, if you want to do it in your free time at the bar, that's fine. But in the workplace, you will not refer to a man as bald.
And feel free, of course, to drop all the C-bombs that you want.
Right. That's fine. So they now consider that word to be sexual harassment. And
wait, how?
I don't know. The tribunal, whose own members spoke about their own experiences with hair loss, they referred to it as similar to commenting on the size of a woman's breasts. So how do you feel about that? Do you think that's the same kind of deal?
0%. I do, however, find it hilarious. I mean, I could say maybe if they said in relation to the two, they go bald and C-word, like he was literally referring to him as a bald. I don't know. But I don't know how it gets sexual in terms of all that.
I know what I'm going to refer to Rich Falls as from now on. I'll leave out the B word. The C word's completely fine.
Of course.
But B word's completely off limits.
Yeah, don't do that.
No. Sorry, Rich. All right. Steve, moving on to some entertainment here. Some entertainment. Now, not that the other stuff wasn't entertaining. I'm just saying this is entertainment. So, Steve, I know you're a big sports guy, and you're a big podcast guy as well. I think you actually referred to yourself as a podcast whore the other day.
Dodger
right?
game.
Well, look at this. It's like Rich Falls over here. It's making sure that I'm watching not missing one picture here.
Gotta watch the Dodgers.
Oh, fantastic. No, it's the White Sox, not the Cubs. Are you into any TV shows?
Like sitcom shows that you can binge watch, or I don't know. Do people still watch? I feel like advertisements sometimes watching the NBA Finals or something. They're like, catch the Tuesday premiere of blah blah blah. I'm like, what?
Terrible.
They're still trying that.
There could be a reason why they're going to be doing more of what I'm going to talk about here, but there's a lot of reboots coming up.
Oh, those blow. That's just so uncreative. It's not even funny.
That's true.
Like when they did the Wonder Years, but instead of a honky family, it's a black family. It's like, oh wow,
African American version of the
way to go.
I don't even know if anybody watched that. I don't know what
I saw thousands of advertisements for it.
Right.
And that's about it.
So I'm going to say some reboots that they're going to be coming up with here, and let me tell you. See if you're excited about any of these.
Let me try to just guess. I'm going to just try to throw something.
All right,
something. These are probably horrendously stupid, right? Did they stink originally, or they're great originally?
Not necessarily. So they are 90s. So many of them are the 90s TV shows. So
all right, I'm going to guess Back to the Future.
No. TV show, not movie.
Okay.
They better not touch Back to the Future. But you know they will. You know they will.
It's coming.
It's coming. Oh, man. That's going to be a sad, dark day.
Marty's just all propped up.
That's horrible. Oh, man.
I'm just rooting for him to still be in it. He's going to make a cameo. He'd be good. MASH.
That's a little older. That's like 70s, isn't that? Well, I guess it's early 80s too, but it's mostly 70s. Okay, so I'm just going to help you out. I'm going to help. That'd be interesting. All right, so the first show, and this one aired on NBC from 1993 to 2004. Maybe that'll help you out.
Fresh Prince. Family Matters.
That would be Frasier.
Hey, baby,
Frasier. So this is weird.
That show sucked then.
That is all right, but okay. So the reboot is going to be. It's set to return on Paramount Plus. But here's the part that you think that they'd be getting like everybody back together, because why would you do this show? I don't know. I always thought the funniest person on the show was the guy who's dead now, who's the dad. He's no longer around. I don't think the dog's around either. But Kelsey Grammer is the only one that is confirmed for the show. They don't have the brother. They don't have the chick, Daphne or whatever.
That whole first episode is him explaining how he's Frasier and left alone now.
Weird, right? I don't know.
This one died. Okay. This one moved away. This one divorced me. This one don't like me anymore. That's kind of
so
cool.
Weird. Yeah. Is he going to move? Is he still in Seattle? I don't know. See if you can guess this next one. The next one originally aired on Fox from 1998 to 2006. And this one's going to be rebooted and set to return on Netflix.
Oh.
And this time, this is going to be the hint for you. This time, it's going to be set in the mid-90s.
Oh, I'm so bad at this. I'm just going to guess another Vietnam.
That would be That 70s Show.
Oh, so that 90s show. They tried it with... Did they try it with the 80s show?
I don't know.
It's going to keep going up and up.
Yeah. So, but this one, unlike Frasier, though, this one has pretty much everybody returning. You have Red, you have Kitty, you have Eric, Donna, Jackie, Fez, Kelso, even Tommy Chong is going to be back.
Wow. He's out. He's free. He's running around.
Yeah. He's been free for a long time. But Steve, the one person who's not mentioned is Stephen Hyde, who is played by Danny Masterson, who, well, he's currently in court standing trial on 3 counts of rape.
Oh, yeah.
So he's not going to be there.
Oh, yeah. What happened to that stoner guy we used to hang out with? What excuse they're going to give for him? Man?
He got into some heavier drugs, and, well, now he's, yeah. All right, and the last reboot I'll cover here. I'll just move on. But the last one I want to cover here is this one originally aired on MTV from 1993 to 1997,
and it was a TV show.
Is a TV show, and this one rebooted for a couple months back in 2011. It's since had a couple of movies. Very, very popular, iconic TV show back in the 90s. It's a good guess, but I think that was Jackass the late 90s, early 2000s. Anyway, Steve, that show is Beavis and Butthead.
Don't they have a new movie out?
Yeah. So did you see the new movie?
No, but I don't know if this was someone playing a joke, but I think I saw something on Instagram earlier today or yesterday or something that said it has like huge scores on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm like, this has to be a joke.
You know what's funny is I literally heard a review today that said it was like one of the, like some dude said, he goes, it was so funny. He goes, I had to watch it again because I was laughing so hard the first time I watched it. That I have to like watch it again because I missed so much of it. And I'm like, what? I go, how's that even possible? I gotta check it out. I gotta check it out. Because I like the first one.
What format is it on?
So this one, the new Beavis and Butthead show is set to appear next year in 2024 on Paramount Plus. Mike Judge, of course, returns for the voices, and I don't know where the movie is. I guess maybe Paramount Plus. Well, all these things you have to pay extra for to like watch. It's like
I know. It's like I'm always like I missed the Notre Dame game last year. I was just like, I'm not buying Peacock. Like, how greedy is that? Like 9 of their 11 games a year on national television, the other ones on ESPN. I gotta buy Peacock to watch.
No way, for real.
One of them last year was on Peacock.
No way.
I was like, all right, screw it.
That is crazy. Wow. All right. So I was going through some random lists online and I came across an interesting one here. This was titled The Worst Movies of the 2000s. So first off, I feel that some of these really don't even belong being on this list because, I mean, whoever wrote this list is completely lazy.
They're probably going to just shit on tons of comedies, right?
Well, yeah, because they put in like dumb comedies on there. They're supposed to be dumb. They're dumb comedies, right? Yeah. Like, so
did you laugh? Did it achieve what it set up for? Then leave it alone. It's the movie.
Right. We're not making like the Shawshank Redemption here. We're making whatever movie. Like so some of these I pulled a couple of these just because here's some of the examples. Like, can you imagine writing?
This is how big is the list, and how many do you extract from it?
Oh no, I just took a few of these just to point out.
But like a top 100 or top 20?
So this one, I think it was like 25 movies.
Okay,
I think. So they had listed on here. This is no joke. Dumb and Dumberer, When Harry Met Lloyd in 2003.
That was pretty bad.
But okay. It's a freaking comedy. Like, okay. How about this one? Okay. I'm just gonna keep going down these here. Daddy Day Camp in 2007, starring Cuba Gooding Jr.
That one, I gotta be honest, that was pretty bad.
Of course it's gonna be bad. Look, I haven't even seen that movie, and I was like, yeah, it's a bad movie. Like, it's
I think I've tried to watch those other two, both of those so far, and then I've unsuccessfully tried to watch them. Just saying. How about I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry? See, I'm the fat guy. Remember? So I take offense to that. Dude,
Adam Sandler and Kevin James.
That movie is hilarious. You know why they probably took huge umbrage with it is because of Rob Schneider's character in it. Remember him? the wedding guy, right?
Yeah.
But also, let's not forget he's part Asian. Like Schneider is.
Right.
He's allowed to, technically, right?
There you go. Yeah, he can do it. Yeah, it's kind of like when, what's his name? He used to go on Corolla? Joe Coy.
Yeah. He'd get in trouble for doing an Asian accent. He's like,
yeah. They get all these complaints and they're like, yeah, you guys were making fun of Asians. He goes, well, no, I'm Asian.
Exactly. Dude, I love that movie. That movie's hilarious.
Well, if you like that one, then you might like the next one. The Hot Chick from 2002. Rob Schneider as well. Hot Chick. You like the Hot Chick?
He makes some stinkers. I mean, I don't even know if I've seen that one. I don't think I had a desire to.
All right. How about
just shitting on this? Sorry.
How about from the same year, Sorority Boys? Have you seen that?
Nope.
Again, exactly. If you haven't heard of it, then you should be on the list.
Yeah.
Norbit from 2007, starring Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy, right? I don't. Wait, is that? No, that's that.
I remember. Are you thinking of The Nutty Professor?
No, I'm thinking of the one with Steve Martin. It's not that one.
Oh no! That was what was that called? Boomerang or no, not Boomerang. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So it's not that one. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if I know what Norbit is.
Yeah. So I remember seeing the preview and I was like, why would anybody pay to see this? Like, is it people? No way this is going to make money, right? Yeah. Anyway, but again, it shouldn't be on the list. Is that you would think that a list like this would be like movies that were supposed to be good and then they were like really bad, right?
But came up with Oscar hype or something, and then like really just tanked in the box office, and they're like, "Wow, that one really didn't achieve." It's like, let me just search through the list of worst comedies done this year. Like,
right, like I thought that Avatar was like this, like visually it like looked great. It was like this groundbreaking special effects and all that good stuff, but the story was like, this is garbage. This is
not paint by numbers, right? Yeah, just paint by numbers.
Yeah,
we need this, and you have it. Was like, okay, I see what you're doing.
Yeah. I'm like 20 minutes in the movie, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I know exactly what's going to happen.
There's going to be a romance. There's going to be this. You're almost going to fail, then you're going to get it, and then okay,
yeah, great. The Master of Disguise, 2002, Dana Carvey.
Oh,
kind of like Dana trying to do his, Mike Myers kind of stuff there.
He's since went on to do some stinkers. I think he appears in a lot of movies.
So he's one of those guys that's tailor made for Saturday Night Live, like perfect, like impersonation guy. But like those were kind of like made up characters, so it's like kind of didn't work.
Yeah, because they didn't like have like a cult following from the show.
Right.
Like where his few that succeeded did.
Yeah. I mean, he's not doing Ross Perot. He's doing some weird character over there. Yeah. But some of these were legit terrible. And these are ones that I, could see being on here. So at number 25, they had Transformers 2 in 2009.
I can get down with that.
Me too. And that was one of the worst movies I ever saw in the theater. And the only thing that I remember about that movie, Steve, the only thing that I remember is my phone blowing up in the middle of the movie because Michael Jackson died.
Wow.
What the heck?
You'll never forget the year that shitter.
I will never forget. But I will forget that movie because I don't remember anything from it. I remember there being maybe a Transformer in that movie. That's it.
I was going to say, is that the one where they still had Megan Fox in her heyday.
Yeah,
right?
but that's the one. Remember
they replaced her with the blonde chick.
I think she was. I think she might have been still in it, but
but not like.
Then focused. Like, look, we can get another super hot chick in this movie. That's how replaceable you are. So if you want to fight with the director, not a good idea, especially for a $1 billion franchise like that. So, number 18, they had Glitter, 2001. Starring Mariah Carey.
Look at me go. I know nothing other than that about that movie.
That's a movie like
that's when she was Mariah on fire. Like that
she
was
had like but then she had like a big breakdown after that. Or she had like a crazy like mental breakdown or something like that.
But she's still in the back of our minds right then as like 99 Mariah. Like you're still seeing her in those Puff Daddy videos. Like
prime Mariah.
yeah.
Pre Nick Cannon. 25 babies, Mariah Carey. I don't know how many kids they have. Number 14, Geely. Is that how you spell it? So
okay. And the only other thing I know about that is that'd be Bennifer, right?
Bennifer! I literally had that written down. Bennifer.
I just heard that was the ultimate piece of trash, and I never wanted to watch it. What's that? One of his directorial debuts, though? Because he's done some pretty decent ones.
He had I don't know how many, he had a string like a few years ago of like 4 or 5 movies in a row that were like awesome, man. You're like, wow.
He did Argo. He did the Crazy Robert, The Town, right? Did he do that?
Yep.
And he peeled up one recently.
Yeah, he's had some good movies.
It took him a while to recover from whatever that Jiggly pile of trash was. Yeah, I think that was like when he just went.
Now that he's back with Jennifer Lopez, maybe he'll make some shitty more movies. Like maybe it was like his kryptonite. It was like his Superman's kryptonite. Yeah,
you're free.
Oh wait, he played Superman.
You're back. Oh, that was dead. Yeah, talking about a trasher. That one was.
Yeah. Number 7, they had Battlefield Earth from 2000.
Man, I feel like a turd. I know nothing about this.
I know John Travolta was in it, but that's about it. And then the number 1 movie they had listed on here, I'm just skipping around now. The number 1 movie was called Disaster Movie from 2008. Did you ever see Disaster Movie?
I don't know.
One of those movies that's kind of like Doesn't that sound like it's one of those, like scary movie? Like, it's not supposed to be good. Like, it's
the pun is in the title.
Right. Exactly.
Disaster movie.
It's ridiculous. All right.
But it was really just about a disaster.
So ridiculous. All right, so we're gonna move on to some music here. Now, you mentioned at the top of the hour here that you were not an Elvis fan. Is that correct?
I'm just saying I'm not a big Elvis guy. I'm saying I could be swayed. I'm saying you could probably play me some good songs by him, but I could also go on a defense.
I'm not here to judge. I'm just saying. So do you know Elvis songs, or is it just like you're not familiar with the Beatles and Elvis and all that good stuff? You're just not into that kind of older music?
A lot more familiar with the Beatles. I'm just not into them, especially like a lot of like the Beatles pandering music, which is a lot of what they play. Like Let It Be, or like
Steve, why don't you just let it be, man?
I know. You're like, really? All right. There's this guy, he's peeing in my milkshake. I'm not letting this be.
Yeah, they had I always tell people that aren't into the Beatles it's easy to not like some of their songs that you've heard like a million trillion times. Listen to some of their deep tracks, and there's some really good hidden gems in those, which is part of the reason why they're so amazing, is because they have those deep tracks that a lot of bands just couldn't make. I mean, like a lot of their deep tracks could be singles, which are the best songs for other groups if they put out those songs. And I always say, listen to the songs that were coming out when they were releasing those. I mean, they were around for like 7 years, and they pumped out that much music. They were like a rock and roll machine, and they put out that much music. That's crazy how much music they put out, like 12, 13 albums in 7 years. Try to think about that in your head, like compared to people now. But anyway, so the Elvis movie was released last weekend, and I'm guessing you did not see that movie, but it beat out Maverick, took the number one spot from Maverick, and it beat it by just $1 million. Sounds like a lot, but it's not a lot in the scheme of things here.
Box office. Yeah.
Yeah. So it took in over $31 million at the box office, and I actually got to see it. So I wanted to say a couple things about it. I had a couple takeaways. Was the movie good? Yes. Were there flaws in the movie? Yes. Of course. Was it highly entertaining? Absolutely. Definitely the best Elvis movie I've ever seen. And even if there was like a kid that didn't know who Elvis was, they did a good job of like keeping it moving fast. It's visually like awesome looking because of the director, Buzz Luhrmann, who's known for doing like those flashy movies like Moulin Rouge and The Great Gatsby. But the guy that played Elvis, I mean, he's a good looking dude, which Elvis was a good looking too, but he doesn't look a lot like Elvis, but he did a fantastic job of playing Elvis. Now, Tom Hanks, he's in a fat suit. I always love the fat suit guys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like a weird accent, and it's kind of a little distracting, but it was okay though. But I read that the problem about the movie, why it could have made more, but the audience, kind of like what you were saying, you're not really into Elvis. And they were saying that the problem with sales at the box office was the target audience. Now, they said that 50% of the audience was over the age of 45. So that takes you out of the picture there. You're automatically out. So a little bit out of your age range. So I'm sure.
Dude, that's monstrous. Imagine if they could have catered that to a younger crowd.
Well, there's a lot of kids that don't even know who Elvis is, which is weird because
bizarre. At
one point in time, he was the most famous person on the entire planet, which is crazy to think about. But I don't even know who would that be now? I don't even know. Who would that be? It could be. I don't know. But it's always like usually now it's like an athlete because they don't have to talk. And, remember like for years it was Michael Jordan. And
yeah.
Before that it was Muhammad Ali, and sometimes it's like Princess Diana and stuff like that. But like a lot of the times it's like an athlete. But as I stated, the movie was good, but there were some details, Steve. There were some details that were conveniently left out.
All right.
Yeah. So the biggest fact that they conveniently
loved Arby's.
Huge fan of Arby's. I'm sure he was. Was that around? I don't know. But they did leave out when they showed when Priscilla and Elvis first met. But Steve, can you tell me how old?
Yeah, that's
how old she was when they first met?
14.
She was 14 years old.
Oh wow! I just stabbed that. I knew it was.
He was 24. He was 24 years old. So,
what was he doing at that middle school?
Here, all the Elvis fans. It was a different time. It was a different time.
Was it? Was it? Was it? Good Lord!
It's a different time. Tell that
how do you skip over that? How about just don't put that in?
Well, it's funny because they showed them meeting. They showed them meeting, and they showed them talking, and they showed him having a great time in his hotel room. And I was like, okay, yada yada yada. All right, now she's moved in. It's like, yeah, okay.
Just skip it. Just skip that little portion. I just think, I don't know. Call me crazy.
They also forgot to mention how fat he actually was at the very end. So so they showed him briefly at the very end, kind of, like fattened up, a little plumped up, but in 1967, Elvis Presley was approximately 170 pounds.
All right.
Fast forward a decade later.
Wait, how tall is he, by the way? Let's just throw this into context. You probably know that, right?
10, I think I read that. I think he's about average, maybe 5'10" or something like that.
All right.
I don't know.
Sorry.
But fast forward a decade to 1977.
10 years. That's all we're talking
10 years.
about. That's a sweet little spin.
Steve, take a guess. How big do you think he ballooned up to?
I'll give him 100. I'll give him a hundo, right? He could do it's basically like Sean Kemp when they went on that strike shortened year and he just showed up fat as hell and quit. He only added 85, and that was a year and a half, right?
Yeah. Well, Steve, you'd be incorrect. You'd be incorrect because Elvis had swelled up to a whopping 350 pounds.
He went double.
350.
He went more than double.
And his daily caloric intake was approximately 10 to 12,000 calories a day.
Wait, and was that literally the end? So when did
1977.
When did he? What year did he?
1977 was the year that Elvis Presley died.
I mean, how old was he?
I think he was 42. 42
so
years old.
32 and 42. He went with the old double plus 10.
Isn't that wild?
That's amazing.
Well,
what was his caloric intake?
So check this out. So some of the things he enjoyed eating, which I'm sure I'd enjoy eating these too, but he loved anything from fried okra to M&Ms, which would be available to snack on in many places around the house, including the kitchen. Of course, why wouldn't it be available in the kitchen? But
when was he in a residency in Vegas when he kicked off?
No, I think he died at Graceland.
Oh, okay.
In Graceland,
wow.
Yeah. So one meal that got Elvis hooked was meatloaf and mashed potatoes.
I'm a big fan of that. Not
who doesn't like that, right? But Steve, Priscilla said that he loved that dish so much that he ate it for dinner every single day for 6 months.
It's not that good.
6 months.
It's not that good. It's good.
I mean, I love it. I mean, you always say if you could eat one thing, one meal a day for the rest of your life, I'm like, pizza? I don't know. What? I mean, it's fantastic.
But even then, you'd be like, all right.
Yeah. But his big weaknesses were obviously, comfort food. So he loved fried chicken, mac and cheese, all the, Southern comfort foods. But Steve, there's one thing that he would not allow into his house. Can you name the one dish That was not allowed.
Tuna fish. I don't know.
You pretty much got it right. He did not allow fish into the house because he hated the smell. Boom! Look at this guy. Look at this guy. But the most famous thing that Elvis used to eat was his peanut butter and banana sandwiches. And
put honey on them, didn't he, or something too?
So what this included? This included 2 slices of white bread, globs of peanut butter, spread on the bread, sliced up bananas, and then it was fried in a stick of butter in a pan. And sometimes you get a little crazy, and they'd throw some strips of bacon on it as well. And it was funny because I was looking this up, and I saw that his personal assistant Mary, she was on the David Letterman show, and she actually demonstrated cooking that meal for him. And I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. So let me show you a little clip of that here.
And you worked for Elvis Presley for 18 years?
Well, I've been at Graceland 25 years, but I worked for him 14 before he passed.
What would breakfast be there at Graceland?
Well, he liked it, omelet, egg omelet for breakfast. He liked sausage and biscuits.
Right.
And cream of wheat.
Right.
Fresh orange juice. Well, he loved breakfast.
So a big country southern style breakfast.
That's right.
Yeah. So you're just going to use, what is it, like a tablespoon of butter?
Oh, that's a stick of butter.
Jeez, you could paint the garage with that, Mary.
Yeah, that's the way he wanted it.
Damn. Quarter pound of butter if you're writing this down at home. And some toast?
Yeah, toast.
And then you're applying what appears to be peanut butter.
That's right. Peanut butter.
Now bananas, peanut butter and bananas.
I had to go back 5 times before I got it right.
Well, I can see that. It's quite complicated.
Yes, it is.
And now you're so essentially. Now, please, was he? Did he treat you well? Did you have bonuses and?
Oh yes, we got a $500 bonus every Christmas.
Did you enjoy your time there?
Oh, did I? Yeah. I loved it.
So what did you think of that?
It looks disgusting.
Did you like the butter? Did you like all the butter?
No. No. You're talking to a guy who made grilled cheese and tomato soup for the little kid for dinner.
Oh, nice.
But it's like a couple swipes of butter.
Right. So, Steve, coupled with that diet, the massive weight gain, and 10 drugs.
Oh, I was going to say,
there
had to be other. Was he pounding liquor too, or just all kinds of crazy?
I don't know if.
Crap.
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know how, if he was a drink.
Didn't need to. He just was all just blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
He was orally fixated.
I have this, there was this recording of him from 1977, and it's a live recording, and it's like, I think it was, Are you lonesome tonight? And he's like,
plus tax. What are they going here in your lives?
And I'm like, oh my God. Like, he's just slurring words and stuff. He's like, and I'm like, what is going on here? And people are like, they love it. If you look at those, those concerts, you see those women like, oh my God, he's right in front of me. Oh, this is so amazing. And I'm like, are you watching the same thing? It's kind of like if someone today went to a Motley Crue concert and they were watching Vince Neil up there, and he's like, I'm like, oh God. Jeez, man.
He's a heartthrob. They're just like, oh.
Yeah, he's just profusely sweating, and
the microphone is just peppered with chunks of meatloaf. Just
there's like peanut butter on it from his mouth, so gross. No, but Steve, everyone knows now how he ended up dying, right? So do you know how he died?
I think I've heard it was on the crapper, right?
Yes, that is correct. So he was probably like. He's like, I guess he was massively constipated, from all the drugs that were, built up in his system, and the 45 banana peanut butter sandwiches that he was
80 pounds of ground beef.
Oh man, yeah. So, yikes.
Gravy.
But yeah, so I just thought I'd throw in some little facts about that.
Things that were missing from the movie. Well, how about this though? Gun to your head, because I haven't seen either. Well, let's not point any guns at your head. Let's just ask you the question.
All right.
Maverick or Elvis? And not just you have to see one again. You would recommend to someone you don't know to see. And they only get to see one in their life. Okay.
All right. Good question. So it'd have to be Maverick if you didn't know.
Familiar with Top Gun. Yeah, let's say you are familiar with Top Gun and you are familiar
because you don't have to know anything about Top Gun to love the new Top Gun. You know what I mean?
All right.
So I would say that the Top Gun movie would be the one that you would have to see. But the Elvis movie, like I said, you don't have to know about Elvis. I could see I remember I told Jen, I go, you could probably show this to your daughter who's like 13 or something like that. You could probably show this to your daughter and your daughter would probably like it. I mean, the guy that plays Elvis, he's a hunk, he's a good looking dude. They tell the story. They go really fast. So it's like that kind of generation where it's like, the TikTok generation is like, okay, get to the point. So they move really fast. It's very visually, it's awesome the way that they filmed it and they put all the, bright lights and everything. And it's very fast moving. They move along with the story very well. And they teach you about Elvis. And again, you don't even have to know who Elvis is. They're just
I'm not a huge Elton John fan. I'm not a huge Queen fan, but I enjoyed both of those docu flicks. I mean,
I would say that the Elvis movie is a lot better than the Elton John movie. I
wasn't that crazy about that one. I thought it was cool because I didn't realize that one was a little kind of
theatery.
Yes, but the Queen one was cool, man. I thought the Queen one was pretty damn cool because either way, I didn't realize how big of stars they were. Even though my dad had Elton John records and stuff.
Oh my gosh, Elton John was huge in the 70s, just a monster.
Yeah, that one was a little bit. He's floating and playing the piano. How does he do that? So yeah, I could see that Elvis one, but I think I watched the Queen one twice, maybe. Just came across it on TV and I was like,
yeah, that was a good movie. That was a strong movie. So, now Steve, what would you say Chris Brown is best known for?
Punching Rihanna in the face with a balled up fist. Not a smack. Not a smack. The opposite of the old Will Smith. Oh, and he can dance. And he can dance.
He's definitely the Ike Turner of this generation. That's for sure. But there is a debate going around. There was a debate going around that he is a better dancer than Michael Jackson was. And again, you just pointed out he's known for beating up Rihanna a few times and dancing. And he sings too. But
I think there's the person that we're comparing him to might have a worse number one thing he's known for.
What's that?
Diddling children.
Oh, you're talking about Michael Jackson. Yeah.
Sing really well. And anything.
What was it that Crowley used to always talk about? Like, look, you know what? You could diddle children. You could beat up Rihanna. You could punch her in the face, give her black eyes. But if you could dance, all is forgiven. All is forgiven. It is kind of weird, right? It's kind of weird.
I played sports all those years. I should have just been working on my moves. I could have got away with it.
Wait a minute. What are you trying to say?
I mean, I'm just saying. I didn't do any of those things, but I'm just saying. Just in my back pocket, I'd always have that car somewhere to go.
Right. Yeah.
I accidentally, someone jumped in front of my car. I hit him. I just hit a few moves, and the cops would be like, "All right, buddy."
You jump on the hood like Michael Jackson did in that video. Yeah.
You go on and get out of here. You can really move those feet.
Right. Yeah. So I guess someone finally went up to him and they flat out just asked him, "Are you a better dancer than Michael Jackson?" And he's like, "Hell no, I'm not a better dancer than Michael Jackson." But you're right though. Like it is weird. Like that was always one of my favorite things that Crowley would talk about when he would bring up like if you could dance, all is forgiven. And I'm like, those are some pretty horrible things that these guys did, but they're great dancers. Gotta give it to them. They're great dancers. So
they're still rocking, and someone still went up to him with a microphone and wanted to know, do you still think you can move better than Michael Jackson?
I mean, I'm guilty of liking some of their songs, so yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't know. I'm just not I'm not a fan of their dancing. I could take it or leave it, but
that's true. This is true. I'm not so much either. I haven't Googled that in a long time.
Yeah. Steve, speaking of shame, did you ever see the cover of Selena Gomez? There's a Selena Gomez album, and it's called Revival. Because I know you're a huge Selena Gomez fan.
I could
celebrate her entire collection, right?
All of her 15, 6, 7, 9 albums.
So this album cover, let me describe it. So basically it's her sitting on the ground. It looks like she's naked, kind of one of those poses where she has her legs crossed or whatever. And I guess she wasn't a big fan of that album. I don't know if she was coerced into taking that photo or something, but
by Chris Brown.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I don't know.
Behind the camera, just
take a picture. It's like, okay. No. So I guess she's not a fan of that album because of that cover, or maybe she's just not a fan of the cover, because she said that she's not an overly sexual person, and
right.
And I guess that's the big reason why she's no longer even on social media, because she feels that when you see other people on Instagram and stuff like that, you can't look like that. It's impossible. So that's the reason she's not on social media. But
2 million of her fans were just pervs, and all they did was get on Instagram so they could just stare at random half-naked photos of her.
I don't know.
The vast majority of Instagram.
Right. Yeah. Maybe that's kind of what she's saying, though. I don't know. But now you're not on certain forms of social media, right?
I'm not on Twitter. I'm pretty rarely on Facebook, and rarely I'm on Instagram. I think that's it. Snapchat, I do that, but I just use that to send pictures of my kid and videos.
Gotcha. Okay.
Amanda. Oh, I don't do TikTok.
You're not on TikTok?
No.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
That's what I've heard. Even
it's very dangerous.
You know who Fitzdog, Greg Fitzsimmons, said, "If you're not on it, don't do it." He goes,
yeah.
He said it. He's like 60. He goes, "It kills 45 minutes of my life every day."
Yeah, it's crazy.
My Amanda's dad, my father-in-law, sends me TikToks all like just randomly. He'll send me like 5 in a day, and I'm just like, fuck,
Steve, if you've never seen a porno, don't watch a porno. Just don't do it. Whatever you do.
Too late, Josh.
All right. And the last of the entertainment stuff here. So, Steve, did you ever watch the show American Idol?
Like, I never got into it, but I've seen clips of it or something. I've never like sat and watched it.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, I haven't seen that show in probably a good 10 years. Whenever.
Oh, it's still rocking, huh? All right.
Well, I just read that it's still on, apparently. It switched from Fox to ABC a couple of years ago, back in 2018. But this was fascinating to me because this makes no sense. Well, I guess in this day and age, it makes sense because it's just ridiculous. But they stopped airing the bad auditions on that show.
Oh, I thought that was the whole, like, the heart of it, right?
Right, isn't that the best part of it?
People started going out and trying to shit the bed, and it probably looked too cooked at one point or something.
Every single thing that I could think of from that show were the bad auditions. William Hung and stuff like that. It's like, I am not a professional singer. I'm like, really?
Then why are you here in line with 1 billion people around the world?
But, I guess it's just not PC to make fun of.
Oh, that's why.
People that think they can sing and they can't. I don't know. But
So then they can't hold open tryouts and just have someone get embarrassed by a professional team like anymore.
Yes, maybe they just.
So we can't have walk-ons walking onto the Seahawks anymore because those guys might just beat the shit out of them in football, not in Chris Brown way.
Exactly.
Like, what are we talking about? Isn't this guy just trying to sing? Like, you can't suck. They can't say boo. You suck. Get out of here. Like, man.
Yeah. I wish they would have showed.
A job would go like if you showed up like I'm gonna paint your house and then you just screwed it all up. Oh, they'd be like, get your ass out of here. Oh, that'd be awesome. Fire that guy.
That was the best part about that show. Like, it was a funny show, and I even liked when they had the two buffoons on that show. They had Ryan Seacrest and they had Brian Dunkelman was the guy that kind of like the Pete Best of that show who got fired from the Beatles. It's like, oh, so you're Brian Dunkelman. You're the guy that the guy that didn't make it to the second season or the third or the fourth or the 20th season of that show. But yeah, so I just thought that was kind of interesting that they don't show the best part about that show now that it's moved on to ABC in 2018.
It sounds like a bunch of writers' room heads fucking stuff up. Like,
right. Yeah.
Wouldn't you assume that was what it is?
I wonder what kind of ratings it gets now, because it used to be a juggernaut with the ratings. It used to be huge.
Well, that's why I'm shocked that it's still on.
Right. Yeah, me too.
I mean, but maybe it has its like cult following. People have been watching it for 20 years. Like,
I just don't watch. I don't watch any network television anymore. So I don't know about the cool shows that are on. Those are the kind of things that maybe your wife watch. I don't know. I don't know what your family watches, but maybe they watch that kind of stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, that's way worse. It gets way worse.
Steve, did you see the crazy brawl between the Mariners and the Angels?
It's pretty awesome. It got
crazy.
That got heated, man. That got heated. I like the guy on the Angels he's got the broken wrist, and he's like an important guy on their team, and he's just out there with his left, just like right away. I was just like, you got a broken wrist, guy.
It's not often you see like a full on crazy brawl like that.
Yeah, there was a couple dudes who were like going popped right out of the dugout and were just like engaging like linemen. And then one of their guys, I think a relief pitcher, he fell off the dugout and I think he broke his elbow.
Oh my God.
One of the Angels pitchers broke his elbow.
Wow. That's crazy, man. Jeez. Now, speaking of baseball, you said that you actually went to the Field of Dreams house.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Was that pretty cool?
It's really, fantastic camera work because the house just seems like a dump, like a small little ranch house dump.
Well, it was 35 years ago that came out.
Right, but they kind of seemed like it had a sweeping, like, steps and downstairs and like a pristine old kitchen, and that bay window where she's sitting looking out at the field seemed like a beautiful big glass window. It's like this big, and the kitchen's like I could touch end to end, and like
so it's pretty tiny inside.
You walk up those stairs, and I got to like duck to when it breaks back, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Now, was that place made just for the movie, or is that something that someone actually built?
There was a lady who was cruising around in the town because it's outside of. It literally is in the middle of nowhere, just where there's just cornfields and everything still. But my brother was going to school at University of Iowa at the time, and it's like an hour and a half or something from there.
Okay.
And that's a decent sized city, and so is where the Iowa State, the Cyclones play. That's a decent sized city too. I don't know a ton about the state of Iowa, but anyways, this place where they were going to go film that is they were just cruising around looking for a place. And then I don't know if it's like the cinematographer person or whatever, they just saw this house and they just were like, that's it. They were like,
if you build it.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. And so they just went to that lady and just talked to her, this, that, and they were like, she was down with it. You know what's crazy is, I forget her name in the movie, but she's like the feisty little redhead, Costner's wife in the movie. So her real life husband is actually Ed Harris.
Really?
Who does the whisper in Field of Dreams?
No way, that's him?
That's Ed Harris, baby. That's
No
Ed
way,
Harris.
for real?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a good trivia question right there. Oh, that's crazy. I like that. I like that little trivia there.
Yeah, we did a little tour and stuff. It was fun. We were hitting baseballs and playing catch and screwing around in the cornfield, but it's very unimpactful. They still have some of the wood poles up, but
that's wild. It's cool you got to go there.
When we were there, they were building, because now they built a minor league stadium out there, and that's where they're going to have a classic major league game. Like that's where they just had one this past year. Is they play a game out there now, so they have like a 15,000.
Yeah, I saw that. That's pretty cool.
Stadium. It's pretty cool, and they were doing the construction for it. So like if the house is facing out that way, it's just like beyond past, like left center field.
Yeah.
Pretty neat.
Would you go to a game out there, or do you have to know somebody to go to the game out there like that? Because I don't imagine there's a lot of seats. Right?
I swear, I think it's like 15,000 seats. Or something like that. It's something like, think about how many people they pack in the 16th hole at the Phoenix.
Right.
Open, right?
Yeah.
They put 13,000.
They built like a little thing like that.
170-yard hole. So.
Wow.
But I think it packs in quite a few. I think it might be a pain in the ass to find a place to stay, or why you probably have to drive 3 hours to find a hotel.
Oh my gosh. Right.
Your ass in it.
Now, I got a quick trivia question for you.
Right.
The Seahawks in 1993 drafted this quarterback from Notre Dame University.
Rick Mirer, baby.
Oh, Rick Mirer, your buddy Rick Mirer.
My boy. Hey, who was the rookie of the year? That's what I want to know.
Is that Drew Bledsoe?
No, for the Seahawks.
For the Seahawks?
Rick Mirer.
Oh! Dang, yeah, no, he had a good rookie year. That was about it. And then he went to the Bears, and Rich Falls loves that he went to the Bears, and that is yeah. No, but you ran into him at like some wine thing or something?
Oh yeah, I worked for a company that sold his wine. There's a big he's like the president of the Notre Dame Club of San Antonio. And I sold a lot of his wines. He's basically an import-export guy, and he, he's part of the Alumni Association, so I knew who he was from my dad or whatever. But he imports and exports the wines that Rick Mirer sells. Like he has his own wineries and stuff. He's like not quite as snooty as Bledsoe, because I've seen a lot about his wineries and such.
They both have wineries?
Yeah, no, Bledsoe's like a legit producer of
really
wine. Like, and he does some real good.
Those two are always competing. I swear to God, those two always compete.
He does some legit like table wines that are like normal, but Rick Mirer is signing his bottles of Cab that are on the shelf at just a local grocer for $70. I'm like,
whoa!
I'm like, wow! I'm like, you're Rick Mirer, not Tom fucking Brady, right?
Not Drew Bledsoe.
Right? Like, even then, like, and I'm just like, because I mean, even he's not there like pouring it, like taste it, telling you about the grapes. He's like, I'm Rick Mirer. And I'm like, you're also in San Antonio. Like, you could maybe draw a crowd in Seattle. Definitely one in South Bend.
Yeah.
Definitely one in Chicago. You're like, San Antonio seems like a happy medium. Like, that's where I'll go. Just
kind of weird. Kind of a weird location to be having a meet and greet.
I was like, whatever. Shook his hand. I just said what's up to him. He's a head taller than me. So he's not like I'm a giant, but he's a solid 6'5" and pretty stout.
Yeah.
But I mean, for his turnout, which was exactly no one other than the shoppers there that day at the giant store. I think he liked me going up and talking to him and telling him I lived there and down the street, and told him what street I live on and my dad's class of 74. I mean, he was like, other than me, I didn't see any other fans there.
Are you serious?
I mean, I think I saw a few people like,
hey, look, Dad, we're the first ones here. We're the first ones here today.
Son, we're the only ones here.
Hey, Dad, look, no line.
Yeah.
Why is Rick Mirer so happy to see us? This is weird.
Yeah, honestly, because I probably wouldn't have went up to him and talked to him as much as I did if he was like doing something.
Yeah. There's a lion down the street. You're like, I'll skip this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're going to end it with Rick Mirer. What do you think of that? What do you think of that, Andy?
Could it get any better? What was his number for you guys? It was number 3, right?
Number three. Yeah.
That's it. All right.
It was a rough. The 90s were not a good time in Seattle for Seahawks football. They were a really bad time for Seahawks football.
I know. And him coming in with this small glimmer of hope and like flashing a light, and then it went out right away. Probably doesn't like put much.
I think that because when they talk about the difference between college and football, and it's so vastly different. Some quarterbacks can actually transition and be successful. Most can't, but Rick Mirer, they found him out really fast because they found out that he was really good at throwing to his right, but he could not throw to his left. Stack up people on the left and throw some picks, and that was the end of it. Rick Mirer, pretty much. So yeah.
Oh, now I know that. That's history too.
Well, you learn something new every day, and that's what I'm here to do, is to help educate, entertain, and I can't remember the other one.
You're supposed to do your research.
All right, Steve, this has been fun, buddy. We're gonna have to do this a lot sooner than we did the last time you were on. We're gonna have you back on in the studio. We'll have to do that.
I can't wait. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. And thanks for coming on, talking about some of these goofy ass stories, talking about Fat Elvis and hopefully
Fat Steve.
Hopefully soon I could meet baby Elvis.
Oh, dude.
Kind of baby Elvis.
You should put a hot photo of that with.
I will. I definitely will.
That is a solid photo. I can't wait to send that to my father-in-law, dude. He's gonna love it.
That's awesome. All right, Steve.
I love you.
For Steve Klunk, I am Josh, and as always, thank you for being a friend.
Thank you for being a friend.